Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division 2 video today by me, Vulcan. In this video I have for you a 4 versus 4 on one of the new maps, Brest West, and I'm going to be using one of the new divisions, the 1st Polish Infantry. On my team today I have Gonzo, No Gravitas, and Mystical Walrus, who are going to be using the Home Army, the 26th Guard Rifles, and the 15th Infantry Scots. And on the Axis side we have Aim, Balkan, Harbinger, and Uermen, who are going to be playing with the 5th SS, the Fallschirmpanzer, 21st and 21st respectively. So pretty stacked teams, good to see, lots of regular players, and that's because I was actually playing this live on my stream at twitch.tv/VulcanHDGaming. So if you want to get involved in these games in the future, or potentially just want to come along and watch, then make sure to join me there. I stream on the weekends, 8 PM BST. So let's have a look at what we've got down here. I wanted to record this game because it really showed off the Vanguard potential of the 1st Polish Infantry and kind of matches up well with how I explained the division working in the Battlegroup preview. So let's have a look. We've got the VulcanHDGaming. These guys are the penal battalions. They have the 20-man squads, I guess are penal companies. They've got 20-man squads and they are disheartened. They're really, really good because they outmatch most enemy squads at mid-range. But the disheartened trait does mean that they take morale penalties, like, well, they take 50% more morale damage, basically. But in order to sort of stop that, you need to have, like, NKVD. NKVD also stop them from automatically falling back. Where sometimes you do want them to automatically fall back, so they keep themselves alive and keep their numbers up over time. Anyway, accompanying all of those VulcanHDGaming, we have the 45mm AT guns. I've unloaded this one earlier. I was trying to get some shots onto the half track, onto the Oberblitz, and onto this one further back, but unfortunately missed pretty much every single shot. And also Aim nicely microed. He unloaded that one quick enough and also got his half track into cover. So yeah, 45mm in infantry is pretty much my start here. Now, I haven't mentioned yet, but this was a low-income game because we're playing a 4v4 on pretty much like a 2v2/3v3 map. So, yeah, everybody started with 500 income, and we now have lower income than usual, but the disparity between, like, Vanguard and Balanced is still the same. So overall, it's still the same effects. It's just I wanted to have as many people play as possible, as I like to do, get everybody involved in the live streams. Anyway, VulcanHDGaming going to be attacking the Panzergrens, and you can see I just melt them at this range. Like 2 versus 1, that's 40 men versus like 10. So of course they're going to get chewed up very, very quickly. They're going to get forced back. The Panzergrens actually did quite a lot of damage, but you can see they just get overwhelmed by the numbers, and in this case these Panzergrens are just gone. T-34-76 and BA-10M going to be trying to take shots at the SDKF Z11 flak. Both of them missing there. This SDKF Z11 flak was playing with fire. Look at that. The shot was so close. But unfortunately we miss. But infantry's doing well until we bump into some Sturm Pioneers, and this VulcanHDGaming is going to have to do a run there, just get away from the Sturm Pioneers as quickly as possible, automatically falling back of course. But it's up to me to have these VulcanHDGaming close enough that the infantry can't be surrendered. So you may notice that sometimes you're running onto infantry that's falling back and you're not surrendering it. Reason being is that your front line is probably not over the top of them, and that's the only time that like infantry surrenders. So if you have a squad that's not pinned next to a squad that is, the squad that isn't pinned will hold the front line and prevent the other one from being surrendered. It's worth noting, and it's something you can exploit to your advantage just to stop you losing individual squads. Anyway, I've brought in some leaders here to give me some extra veterancy on these squads, and I'm going to have to bring in some NKVD later as well to stop the disheartened trait from being a problem. Anyway, my 45mm on the right hand side here, currently in the trees, firing out. Look at that beautiful view. There's a couple of Shermans down here. Uermen set them up to fire position on this tree line, because I think that's where he guessed that it was. But we're firing from the other tree line, and we're just getting some crits there. I don't think we had any penetration chance, not without the APCR anyway. Here I'm going to be taking the BA-10M and just exploit the fact that the Panzergrenadiers don't have any Panzerfaust, so just driving that armoured vehicle right up in front of them. And that's what these BA-10Ms can be so good for, just like close infantry support. They've got 2 machine guns, they've got the HE shells, they also have like the recon capabilities, so they're going to spot those infantry before they're in Panzerfaust range in Light Forest. And so you can really do a lot of damage with these BA-10Ms if you micro them properly. Anyway, the SDKFZ-11 flak game's going to move that forwards, get some 20mm damage down onto these penal troops. They're going to take an absolute beating there as they try and cross the open. Just told to march. I've also brought in a bunch of these Strelzy SVT squads around. You can see there's one in the middle there, just causing a little bit of a salient. I got this one here supporting the fire support weapons with no gravitas. The idea was just to like hold the front line on the right hand side, but no gravitas had this kind of sorted there for me. Regardless, I'm still pushing forwards with my Oztial here. These are going to keep running forwards, take as much ground as they can, as quickly as they can. Just got to keep the pressure on. Vanguard deployment type is basically the reason for that. You just need to exploit your advantage as much as you can and as quickly as you can. Now here the BA-10M does manage to get shot by the PaK-38 on the left hand side. That's an ambushing shot, but this one, my T-34 is just out of line of sight, so I'm happy to just let that sit there and fire at this mortar half-track that AIM was bringing up. I believe he probably brought it in off this reinforcement point and was trying to move it over to the right hand side, but it's come out into the open. T-34 is going to get a loader wound critical there, just trying to look for the last shot onto that so I can kill it. Meanwhile, Ojtialkani, they're going to be moving into this tree line to kill off the PaK-38 there, and on the left hand side the 3 machine guns from the Ojtialkani and the BA-10M HE shot going to take out that one. So we get 3 kills in quick succession. I get the mortar half-track just before it went into cover. Look at the line of sight there. Last shot managed to pick that off. Took out both the PaK-38s, managed to get well on top of the support weapons, and my BA-10M is even managing to get shots across onto Harbinger's U-304 command. I was really hoping that I could snipe that, but unfortunately the BA-10M just critting rather than getting the kill. So yeah, we're right into the back line of our enemy already after breaking down a lot of the Panzergrenadiers. AIM's Panzergrenadiers, without the Panzerfaust, not being able to stop the BA-10M on the left, and on the right hand side just getting overwhelmed by numbers. Same deal with the Sturmpioneer as they push out into the light cover from the medium range engagement. The Ojtialkani just like wreck them. So NKVD, they're going to be moving up just to support these disheartened troops as we continue forwards. T-34 there is going to get shot by the PaK-38. There's another one in position. Uamen's brought that over. We are going to get the BA-10M kill onto the SDKFZ-11 flak. And now my BA-10M's covering more Ojtialkani as I move on to the Panzergrenadiers. Got to try and take out this Gepard on the left-hand side, otherwise that's going to kill the Ojtial. And that's another nice thing about these BA-10Ms. They can kill most light vehicles very easily because they have 75mm of penetration, so they're actually relatively strong. A really, really nice support recon to have. Anyway, 3 of my T-34s coming up here. Unfortunately, the recon one died. Got a PaK-38 in the side of that tree line we're going to be finding with the NKVD. And up here you can see I've got the NKVD on a follow order. Now if you want to do a follow order, what you want to do is just select the unit that you want to follow the other one, and then just right click on the one you want it to follow. And it will just follow it around. You can also do it to allied units. I think in a game recently I had a player make his supply follow mine that had run out, so I could basically use his supply like my own, which was quite clever. I hadn't really thought of that before, but yeah, he did that, and it was kind of handy. Until the Sturmtiger came along and blew both of them up. But yeah, either way, we're going to get another kill here. Another mortar, actually. It was a pretty significant kill. 2 mortar half-tracks down. It's pretty bad news, honestly, for the 5th SS. Because those mortars are so crucial. Like, from playing the 5th SS myself, those mortars like are really, really handy to have. So losing both of them, I mean, I think they can get 3 on a card if you don't have veterancy. But yeah, losing 3 or 2 is still really, really tough. Because you just don't have that like firepower in your artillery in Phase A to work with. So yeah, really good job. The Odjao kind of managed to do a lot of damage there with the PTRD onto that. I think it was caused the crit in the first place. Anyway, got my T-34s building up here. You can see we've got to the end of Phase A. We're just about to move in Phase B. So I've used up my 1,500 points worth of Phase A income, and we've got 6-7 T-34s on the field. So that's basically 7 minutes worth of advantage right there, because every minute you have 150 points. My opponent, who is AIM, he's got 100 points a minute, so we can afford an extra T-34 every minute, and that's basically what this comes down to, the extra 7 T-34s on the field alongside the rest of our support weapons. We've got my mortar here supporting as well, and at the back we're going to be bringing in the Katyushas. Since we just moved into Phase B, I've got to have the Katyushas in place to kind of take care of the heavier targets, in this case T-34s and potentially Panthers, since we're up against the 5th SS. But I managed to get the gun jam there, really nice kill as well against the Sherman. Unfortunately this T-34 did get transmission destroyed, so I'm not going to be able to continue the push with that. This T-34 is firing across onto my Odjao, and they're not going to be able to make it across. NKV just getting dragged around with those, going to get taken out. This Su-76, I do have some of the AT versions. These can actually be really good value because they're only 35 points apiece. But in this case, AT guns are their worst nightmare because they have such light armor. So yeah, it's gonna struggle against this Pak 38. Pak 38 is now firing at the T-34 instead though, since the Su-76 has fallen back, and it's going to get that kill as I try and engage the T-34-85. That was a bit of a micro mistake on my part. I believe I was trying to move that forwards to get shots onto the Panzergrenz here, and the BA-10M also by this edge of this tree line trying to find that Panzergrenz to basically get the cap onto this flag. But at the moment we're doing well anyway, 19-9. Gonzo on the right hand side is just doing his thing. We've managed to push enough pressure onto this flag on the right hand side, just need to capture this flag, and we've also put enough pressure onto this flag. But here goes the Katyushas, they're firing away off into the distance, and they're going to be moving immediately after. If you're ever going to do a rocket strike with the Katyusha and Russia, always give it a shift move order afterwards, so that if counter battery comes in, it's not going to kill those because they are pretty weak. Anyway, that was aimed at this T-34-85 and the other T-34 next to it, and T-34 on the right hand side where there was also a Panther. So we managed to take out one of them. I do get the driver knockout with the PTRD, which is nice, and now I'm just trying to get enough firepower on top of that T-34-85 to do the damage. Now this is the biggest trouble with like Katyushas these days, is they don't fully pin an area. So this Panther's absolutely fine right now, and that's really putting a damper on things, because my T-34s, they can't push into a Panther A, but we are managing to make the one on the left-hand side fall back. I'm just going to be trying to charge that down, get line of sight onto it again, and potentially get the kill. Pak 38 does get killed, but we do see Urman and AIM now pushing back on this right-hand side towards my squads. I have brought in some Desant Salgowi, or Galvi, or I think that's something... how they're pronounced. Either way, because they only have 100 meter range and the Panzergrenz have a little bit more, the Panzergrenz can engage from out of range there, and that is a little bit of a problem. So I should probably have either moved forwards to find that surrender or move them back so that they can't get engaged from distance again. But I have other things to worry about, of course, the Panther and the T-34-85. So there we go. What we're going to do to deal with those, we're going to bring in the 122mm artillery piece. Now this is 2-star next to a leader squad right now, because I believe I also had my commander in here. Yeah, I've got the combat back here, we got the leader there, bringing in the 122mm next to the leader so that they can get these 2-star heat rounds firing at the Panthers and stuff. So 160mm of penetration, doesn't have any penetration fall off, so at max range I think you're looking at like 60-70% penetration onto the Panzergrenz, sorry, not the Panzergrenz, the Panther A. My descent there, really nice job against the Panzergrenz. Like with the NKVD, this is like a lot of submachine guns, but as soon as we get into like the 100-meter range of the Pioneers, those are both dead, unfortunately. Like I am just going to push onto that because there's nothing else we can do. but he's just going to end up throwing the grenade. VA-10M eventually takes care of the Panzergrenz there. I just give it a move order or attack move order backwards and forwards around the edge until I spotted the Panzergrenz. Do briefly capture this flag, but due to losing the right hand side, that's going to go back in their favour. But we're still holding this one, and we're also putting pressure over this one. So we've captured 2 offensive objectives, looking to take the third. VA-10M moves a little bit too far with that order. Going to come into the face of the T-34 and the Panther. That's bad news, and it's going to go down. And you can see after making my Phase B, start of Phase B push, we're looking pretty weak on the ground now. Let me backing it up with some ZIS-3s, kind of set up more of a defensive line as we prepare for Phase B and Phase C. Meanwhile on the right hand side though, 45mm, getting some nice transport kills onto the KFZ-70s. And, well, if you thought Gonzo was doing well in Phase A, it's now Phase B, and he has Maverick Division, so that's not good for his opponent. Anyway, my Ozjao Kani are getting wrecked now by the Panzergrenz. They've run low on men, so eventually going to get whittled down enough that they're taken out. Pioneers are going to move into that building, get pinned down quickly though. That's no worries. Ju-88 in the meantime going to be coming in for some recon. Now this is the one that's painted like really cool. It's got a really cool paint job, like with the blue underbelly. We'll match the beautiful sky. In this case, it's a bit overcast, so it probably doesn't work too well. But in a clear sky, if anything's looking up, it'd be harder to spot. Regardless, ZIS-3 going to go down. All of this infantry pushed forwards and took out like 3 of my support weapons because my infantry had just all died, unfortunately. One of my Su-76s is going to get popped by a Panther A, and this one's going to have to do a runner at some point. And my 122mm here, that's shooting at these Pioneers from like 500 meter range. You can see it just blasts them. These are actually really good like anti-infantry guns in a lot of way, but ultimately I want to be hitting the Panthers and heavy tanks with those. So another 122mm here unloaded. The idea being it's going to take the position of these 2 support weapons, the 45mm AT gun and the infantry gun. Both of those are going to push forwards, and then my 122mm can cover the open further behind. So we're still capturing this flag. We're now capturing this one as well after taking out some of the infantry on the right hand side of it. So we're doing really, really well. Typhon going to be brought in by Mystical. He's looking for a Panther kill, potentially. Not going to find one yet. Our opponent replies with a Focke-Wulf. He spotted his target, Panther, and at the same time, the Focke-Wulf gets on its tail, shot down immediately, but the Panther's burning. I think Mystical called that worth. Either way. You can see again, yeah, we're pretty light on the ground. The ZIS-3s, I lost 2 of them, I think, on the right hand side already. So we just got this ZIS-3, and there's this ZIS-3, and then 2 45mm against tanks. We've only got 1 infantry squad, so if any infantry starts pushing on us now, we're in a bad spot. This 122mm, going to be taking a shot at the Panther A, unfortunately missing. I think from there we had like 50% accuracy or something, which actually isn't too bad. For a Novet 122mm. But if we get hit on target, that's generally going to either be a crit or a kill, at least. And that's this 3, just got absolutely obliterated. That was the Blumbia over on the left-hand side here. Managed to smash that. We are up against the 21st, so they do have the Blumbia. Not quite the Sturmtiger, unfortunately, that comes with the Fallschirmpanzer, but that would be over on the right side, I think. Yeah, our Balkan's over on the right. So, anyway, we've done well. We're still capturing this flag. Unfortunately, I lost sort of influence on this flag because I had to fall back from the building. The building just got utterly destroyed by the Blumbia. And over on this side, Uermann's infantry have got close enough to push over that flag. But it's still 17 to 11. Not quite the 20 flags that we used to have, but we are now deep into Phase B, and this is where the fall-off really begins. So, with Vanguard deployment type, you want to be outright aggressive into Phase A and the beginning of Phase B, but you'll notice like the fall off pretty hard. And I think this game like perfectly demonstrated like when you should be pushing, how the battle group that I built works. So I've done all of the work in Phase A. we managed to take that flag, and briefly these flags as well. So 3 offensive flags we took from the enemy, and then like in phase B, unfortunately, like the heavier tanks like the Panthers and stuff come online, and we end up having to play more defensively, so bringing in the 122mm. Managed to get a Panther dekill there, which was quite nice, and of course the 45mm and Zis 3. But yeah, without the infantry support on the front line after my Oddziałkani get wrecked, the Panzergrens are going to be coming in here and cleaning house. So yeah, I'm in a little bit of trouble because the reinforcing roads on this map are pretty open, honestly. If you got the right angles onto the reinforcing roads, you can cut off reinforcements massively. So I'm having to unload the Oddziałkani early and push them up. So there we go. Now it's just a matter of holding on, trying to like finish the game before they get enough flags back. So again, it's like 16-12 now. There's a bit of a pushback on the right hand side against Gonzo. Our Balkan's actually fighting him off as good as he can. Given as good as he can get, or given as good as he gets. Sorry, that's what I was trying to say. This is 3 going to get taken out there. Again, all of these AT guns have all died now. The 45mm is 3 as AIM's now pushed back with Sturm Pioneers supported by Harbinger's Pioneers there. There's nothing to really stop them. So now what I'm going to do is, again, set up defensively. The Oddziałkani just going to be sitting in the edge of the tree lines and protecting the open with their 3 machine guns. These 2 trying to make a push up. Forced to unload early, unfortunately lose a squad before it unloads. You can see I've got my 122mm here. That's going to be on return fire, just so it doesn't reveal itself without it, like by shooting at a target I don't want it to, because here my 76mm is easily able to take care of the Pak 38, so there's no point in using the 122mm for that. I'm just waiting for that to get line of sight onto the Panthers instead. Same deal here, although I'm going to allow the 122mm to start engaging some of this infantry because it's relatively low on numbers, so taking them out would be great. But 3 seconds left on the clock, that's going to be victory. The Vanguard deployment working out well, 21 minutes and 49 seconds, job well done. This was a relatively short game, not fantastic KD. Of course, we'd lost a lot of units, like a lot of the T-34s that were there at the end of Phase A were not there like midway into Phase B. They were all gone. I just like made like an aggressive push on top of those Katyushas and was really hoping for the best. And I guess we made it work. But as I mentioned, like the KD is not going to be great when you're like charging that hard into your opponent. In terms of kills, well, the Oddziałkani are really showing off what they're capable of. Especially in terms of getting the better of Panzergrens. They are really good at that mid-range engagement. They will struggle against things like MP44s, especially like Begleit Grenadiers, because the Begleits also have like the HE grenades and stuff like that. But even so, like Sturmschützen and stuff with lots and lots of MP44s will chew up those squads. They just win at 300-meter range regardless. But these are probably the next tier down, and they will demolish Panzergrens, which are ideally used at maximum range with their 2 MG42s. Sturm Pioneers no match at like 200-300 meter range because they can't use the flamethrowers, so take advantage of that. And then like Pak 38 is obviously going to go down very quickly when an infantry squad's on top of them. SBA 10M showing its worth for sure. These are relatively cheap. I think they're like 30 points or something, maybe less. And when you're taking out Panzergren, Pak 38, Gepard, you know, like that's a lot of points value for a BA-10M. Same deal here, just killing the SD-Kevs at 11 flags, decent kill. And more Oddziałkani there, doing well. T-34-76s, taking out more Pak 38s, so plenty of Pak 38s to get through. We managed to pop a few Panzer M4s around the place, and this 122mm killing the Panther really makes it difficult for AIM to push back. These 122mm, they basically put the brakes on your opponent, because your opponent now is scared of something that can kill their heavy tanks. Whereas if I was just kind of relying on 45mm and T-34s, what's going to stop a Panther wave from just pushing forwards? Nothing. So you got to make sure that you present something that's like scary. And in this case, a 2-star 122mm is going to do the job. Those heat rounds are just so damn good if you use them correctly. They can even kill things like IS-2s very easily, like especially like IS-2 1943s. I think I was playing like Kuruk, and they have some captured 122mm Soviet guns, and yeah, you can pop pretty heavy tanks with them. So there we go. Yeah, Pak 38s did some work in some cases, but those Panther A's are terribly difficult to get rid of. Then you got the Brumbiar there demolishing one of the 45mm. But that's about it. I don't think there was any particular standout units, nothing that you wouldn't expect. Like T-34s, pop in a couple of the T-34-76s. Those 85 variants, of course, going to do very well. So yeah, fast and furious game with the Vanguard deployment type. I think it showed a nice parallel to what I was talking about in the Battlegroup preview as to how I built the division. And I was also discussing how you could choose to bring in the Katyusha in Phase A, or maybe delay it until Phase B so you get 2 Katyushas. And I think the Phase B version is better because you have those 2 available at the start of Phase B, and that's kind of what you save for. And then you can just jump on that immediately with the advantage that you've built up with the extra points in Phase A. So you can build up to like critical mass at the end of Phase A and then make the push like we demonstrated here. Either way, that's going to be it. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video today. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.